Are you a business owner tired of missing out on leads? Imagine a tireless assistant working 24/7 to capture and qualify potential clients for you. That's the power of chatbots. In today's session, we will break down everything you need to know about your lead generating chatbot. We will explore how to choose the right one, how to implement it, and the best ways to leverage its power to close more deals. Welcome to today's session. Today we are focusing on lead generation, specifically chatbots helping us with lead generation. So we know from the last series that chatbots can do multiple things for your organization, including answering frequently asked questions, nurturing your clients, and making sure that leads that visit your website are not left hanging and they're able to answer your questions 24/7. Now, chatbots, who are they? We say who deliberately. Chatbots are AI-powered computer programs that simulate conversations with human beings. So that's where the who comes from. They can then interact with users through text, through voice, and even video interfaces. And chatbots are becoming increasingly sophisticated with the different types of functions that they can include or different kind of agencies that they can apply during the conversations. So a brief history of chatbots. Chatbots, people don't realize, have been around since the 1960s with a system called ELIZA. And ELIZA acted as a therapist, and it was just a very simple question that was asked, and this is recorded and it's available online. Now, these early chatbots relied on a rule-based system. So specific questions had to be asked and specific answers were delivered. But right now, we've got chatbots that are intelligent. So these chatbots, they are taking advantage of advancements in natural language processing. And natural language processing is essentially the paradigm where people just speak and the chatbot understands what they're saying. Regardless of the combination of words that are used, they can understand the context in which any question is asked or any information is provided to them. So using this, the chatbots can now handle really complex queries. Now, chatbots can generate leads in multiple ways, and we'll just look at 4 areas that chatbots really thrive. So they can greet your website visitors and initiate conversations. And this is something that probably most people are used to. You visit a website and the chatbot widget pops up and says, hello, or do you have any questions? And typically, if you notice, those chatbots don't pop up immediately. They sit on the page sometimes and just watch. And if they notice you're hanging around or they suspect that you've been around for a long time or you're getting confused, then they pop up and ask you a question. And that way you can interact and start providing the interaction that you require or they think that you'd require at that stage. And they can ask you qualifying questions. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Are you ready to move? Are you not ready to move? Are you looking to speak to someone or not? So these are type of questions that can get asked by the chatbot. The chatbot can also capture your information so that the conversation can continue after you've left, and you can be provided with useful contact info or useful blog information and information that's useful to you in order to get you to the next stage. And that's where the nurturing takes place. And then you can schedule appointments and schedule viewings whilst you're on the website, and the chatbot can handle all of that. And in the final stage, they can connect you to a real estate agent with whom you can talk. So chatbots, there are 3 categories of chatbots. One is rule-based. I've talked about that. So ELIZA is rule-based, and the rule-based chatbot essentially has the rules predefined, and those rules are essentially defining what questions will be asked and what answers are expected and how it's going to deal with those answers. The AI-powered chatbots I've mentioned already utilize natural language, so nobody knows up front what's going to be said. But a chatbot, based on its learning and its training, would have an idea of the context of your question and have an understanding of what question you're asked, and based on that understanding will provide responses. The ideal situation appears to be a combination of the rule-based and AI-powered chatbots. Now, chatbots can also help you qualify leads during a conversation. So if you've logged onto the chatbot and you've not logged onto, but you've engaged the chatbot and it's asked you certain questions, behind the scenes, the designer of the chatbot could route your conversation down different tracks based on how you are answering the questions that have been pre-programmed or predefined. As an example, let's say you're a client and you visit a real estate agent's website, and after the initial introductions, it says, "Are you a buyer or a seller?" Now, a really nicely and properly designed chatbot would then ask you follow-on questions depending on your answer to that initial question. If you're a buyer, your questions should be different from if you're a seller. And then based on your answer, you can be categorized behind the scenes to receive different types of information. And what that means is that if you're a buyer, for instance, and you're put in a buyer track, then any blogs or any articles or newsletters that you become a member of would be specific to the buyer track, and likewise for the seller. And if you're a buyer, then there'll be further questions which can be asked based on how close to completing you are. And based on your answers to those questions, you'll be allocated a score. So each answer will have a score, and that score at the end will determine how close you are to moving on to the next stage or helping the estate agency determine if you're a serious client or not, or how close you are to making their money, essentially. And then you can be transferred to leads depending on how you've answered those questions. So these are things that can be happening behind the scenes. You would not know, but that's the intelligence you want to build into the chatbots. And these can be happening whilst you are having the conversation. And chatbots can help nurture you or the client when you're visiting the estate agent's website. So it can help schedule follow-up messages or any automated emails. And that's what I meant by putting you in the right category and putting you down the correct track. It will provide you valuable information. So you can offer different blogs that you can browse to and get more information from, or you can be sent any articles that have been pre-created or any free ebooks. And if you've got frequently asked questions, or you've got any questions that are on the frequently asked section of their website, then those answers can be provided to you automatically. Now, choosing the right chatbot is simple, but there needs to be a process that you follow. So firstly, you want to look at your budget. So what's the chatbot going to cost you? Are you going to do a fresh development or subscribe to one that pre-exists? What features do you want? The key thing with the features is you need to identify the most important features and tie that to your business goals, so that your goals are influencing what chatbot is created, and you're able to measure based on analytics whether the chatbot is actually meeting your business goals. And that way you complete the circle. Your target audience as well needs to be a point to consider. If you are a specialist in retirement homes, I'd imagine your chatbot ought to be different from first-time buyers if that's your niche. So think about the sophistication that needs to be built into the chatbot. Then the final one is, how would your chatbot integrate with your CRM system? Are there APIs that the chatbot is able to call? When the chatbot receives answers to questions like the contact details and whether they're buyers or sellers, what happens to that information? So that integration needs to be a factor to consider when you're choosing your chatbot. And then the implementation steps are fairly straightforward. You could do these yourself, or you can engage an AI partner. But the main steps are, firstly, you want to define the chatbot workflow. You just draw that out on a board. You want to develop the scripts. So these scripts will determine the different intents and determine how the conversation flows through the chatbot itself. You want to train your chatbot. In some cases, the AI-powered chatbots would need examples of the conversations you'd normally have, and then based on that, it's able to provide answers to subsequent conversations or subsequent questions that it receives from clients. Then you want to integrate the chatbot with your existing tools. Now, once you've done all of that, you want to test and then launch. It's fairly straightforward, 5 steps, but each one needs careful consideration. Now, I've talked about chatbots and they sound wonderful. It's also important that you understand that there are limitations, and these limitations are not things that will prevent you from implementing a chatbot, because as you know, chatbots are ubiquitous. They're everywhere now. But not all chatbots are implemented correctly. Not all chatbots have the correct guardrails or the correct rules in place to make sure that they don't provide answers that are not correct and are not in line with your business's rules or your business's terms and conditions. So the key thing is, a chatbot may have technical issues, and if there are technical issues, how do you recover from that, and how do you handle those situations? Your chatbot is dependent on data. The better the data, the better the results, and the better the answers or responses the chatbot can give. Your chatbot does not have any human side to it. It just answers questions based on the question is received and based on its training. That's it. It's not going to be emotional or try to understand the customer's position or situation. If that's not been programmed in, do not expect it to act like a human. And then sometimes chatbots, the tone of the chatbot needs to be right. Sarcastic questions, I don't believe chatbots understand, and I don't think chatbots can handle. They would handle things literally. There's also the tone, which is how friendly do you want the chatbot to be? Do you want it to be professional? How do you want it to handle? What sort of tone should it have in terms of, should it answer like it's a secondary school person, or should it answer questions like it's a professor? So the tone and the vocabulary will be different depending on the tone that you choose. So all these things need to be pre-designed and predefined. So in conclusion, chatbots are here to revolutionize your business. If you don't have one, if you have one already, make sure it meets all of the criteria that I mentioned in the previous slides. It would offer you 24/7 availability, and they're always there. They can improve your lead generation and certainly automate the collection of information and the routing of the conversation from your client. And then by choosing the right chatbot solution and implementing it effectively, you're able to streamline your workflows and get your team firing on all cylinders. And finally, Autoree.ai can help you go through this whole process. We can help you deploy the chatbot, can help you select the right solution, and we can show you a demonstration of what the chatbot looks like. If this is something you're interested in, leave a comment in the comment section and we'll be sure to get back to you. You can partner with Autoree.ai. We automate workflows, we automate your business, we create chatbots for you to boost engagement with your clients and help you nurture these leads. And feel free to reach out to us. Do ask for your AI audit. We'll add you to the wait list and we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, you can send us an email to uwa@autoree.ai. Visit our website on autoree.ai, or you can DM us on any of our social media platforms on this page. So Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It would be really fantastic if you can leave a comment in the comment section. So until next time, we are pleased you stopped by to watch this and learn from this session. Do let us know what it is you have learned. If there's anything we've missed, let me know and we will address this as soon as possible. And feel free to watch some of the other videos from this series. Until next time, keep winning.